The night was quiet, unusually so. Shadows stretched long across the floor of Mar-a-Lago. Outside, the palms swayed gently in the Florida wind. Inside, silence pressed against the walls like a memory. Donald Trump sat alone in the dim light of his study. A half-read briefing lay forgotten on the desk. His fingers tapped nervously on the mahogany wood. Age had crept onto his face like slow dust settling. He was tired, not just of politics, but of everything. The headlines had grown colder, the critics louder. Once the world had clung to every word he said. Now he wrestled with echoes of old cheers and new doubts. His legacy, a question mark drawn in bold red strokes. He stood, walked toward the window, and looked out. The moonlight cast his reflection over the glass, strong yet fading. Then faintly, a voice drifted through the hallway, small, gentle, innocent. He turned his head, listening harder. The door to the guest room was slightly ajar. Inside, his youngest son, Barron, knelt beside the bed. Trump stopped. He didn't want to intrude, but something held him there, heart caught in a quiet snare. He leaned closer, breath held, watching. Barron's voice trembled but continued. "Dear God," the boy whispered, "please help my dad. He's strong, but he looks tired. People say things about him, and I know he hears them. They don't know him like I do. Please, just help him sleep tonight." Trump stepped back. The weight of those words cracked something in his chest. A dam, long fortified, began to leak. He sat down quietly in the hallway, hands in his lap, face turned toward the ceiling. He tried to hold it in, the pride, the shame, but it rushed out in a quiet storm. His breath hitched. A tear slid down his cheek. Then another. Decades of bravado, undone by a boy's prayer. He believes in me, Trump thought, even now. No reporters, no cameras, just a father and son, and a simple hope offered to heaven. He covered his face with both hands. Silent sobs shook his shoulders. "I don't deserve this," he whispered to no one. But maybe he did. Maybe he was more than the man the world argued about. Maybe he was just a father trying to get it right. The study door creaked. Melania peered out. She saw him sitting there, crumpled, vulnerable. No speech, no campaign, just Donald. She stepped beside him, placing a hand on his shoulder. He looked up, eyes red. "He was praying for me," he said. "I heard," she replied softly. "He does it every night." Trump blinked. "He does?" She nodded. "Always for you." His hand gripped hers tightly. "I thought I lost him. Thought I lost all of them." "You didn't," she said. "Not yet." A silence grew between them, not empty, but full. Full of words unsaid, of regrets, of chances still waiting. He stood slowly, gathering himself. Walked toward the room where his son now slept. The boy's face was peaceful. A slight smile still lingered from his final amen. Trump watched him, eyes softer than they'd ever been. Memories rose, holding Barron as a baby, teaching him how to tie a tie, reading The Art of the Deal aloud, just for fun. They weren't all gone. He hadn't lost it all. Kneeling beside the bed, Trump whispered, "Thank you, son, for believing in me when I didn't. I'll do better. For you." The house was still again. The wind outside hushed, as if listening. Far beyond the walls, headlines churned. Commentators prepared new scripts. But none of them knew what had happened tonight. None had seen the cracks turn to light. A man rediscovering his humanity, through the voice of a child, through a prayer not meant to be heard, but heard just in time. In the days that followed, something shifted. Trump smiled more, laughed freely. He still fought, but differently. Not for pride, not for revenge, but for something quieter, truer, for redemption, for peace, for the boy who believed, for the man he could still become. The media noticed and confused. Trump appears more reflective, a softer tone in recent remarks, but they didn't know why, didn't hear the midnight prayer, didn't see the tears on a hallway floor. Only family knew. Only the walls had heard. That moment, that transformation, when a father listened. It wasn't political, It wasn't rehearsed, it wasn't for show, it was real, a human moment. Amid a life of performance, Barron asked God to help his father, and somehow that request echoed loud enough to crack open a hardened heart and begin something new. Trump sat again in that same study, but now the desk was clear. Papers filed, distractions set aside. A single photo lay before him and Barron on the golf course, smiling, mid-laugh, carefree. He touched the edge of the frame. "I'm still your dad," he whispered, "and I'm going to try. God help me, I'm going to try." Somewhere in the house, Barron stirred. Morning broke with a calm hush. The sky outside glowed a soft amber. Donald Trump sat by the window, lost in thought. The air smelled of brewed coffee and sea breeze. His tie was still on the table, untouched. He wore no suit, no red power tie today, just a plain shirt and the weight of change. Change not in policy, but in spirit. The kind of change that doesn't trend online. The kind that moves slowly, soul deep. Barron entered quietly, cereal in hand. "Can I sit here?" he asked. Trump nodded. "Of course, son." They sat together, silence stretching comfortably, a pause unfilled by distraction. "You prayed again?" Trump asked. Barron smiled shyly. "Yeah, for both of us." "You think I need that much help?" "Maybe not help, just love." Trump looked down. "That means a lot." Flashbacks flickered through his mind. Rally stages, flashing cameras, screaming crowds, the roar of being adored or despised. The noise had once fueled him. Now it felt like clutter. "What do you think of me?" Trump asked suddenly. Barron blinked. "You're my dad. Not president. You're more than that, or you can be." The words landed like a seed in fertile ground. The media buzzed in the background. "Trump considering 2028? The headlines asked. Insiders claimed change in tone. But no insider had seen what Barron had. A man, not a brand. A father, not a figure. Trump knew it now. His son had saved him. Not from jail, not from scandal, but from cynicism, from losing his core. Later, he walked the garden path alone. The Secret Service followed, silent as shadows. But he ignored them. His eyes scanned the trees, the sky. He hadn't noticed nature in years. Everything had been filtered through optics. What did this moment look like to the public? Now, for once, it didn't matter. A leaf fell before him. He picked it up and smiled. "You okay, Dad?" Barron called from the porch. Trump raised the leaf. "Just thinking." "About what?" "About how small things matter more than I thought." "Like prayers?" Trump nodded slowly. "Exactly." They spent the afternoon side by side, talking, walking, laughing, time they had never made before, time they could no longer afford to waste. That night, Trump entered Barron's room. "Mind if I pray tonight?" he asked. Barron's eyes widened. "You? Why not? You've been doing it for both of us." They knelt together. Trump's voice was low, uncertain at first. "God, thank you for this boy, for his heart, for his courage. Help me be someone worthy of his prayers. And if you're listening, thank you for not giving up on me." When they finished, neither spoke for a moment. Then Barron hugged him tight. "That was really good," he said. Trump chuckled. "Don't tell the press." The two laughed quietly as the world turned. Redemption is never loud. It doesn't announce itself. It unfolds like dawn, slow, patient, golden. That's how Trump felt now, unfolding, one layer at a time. He spoke to Ivanka the next day. "I want to see the grandkids." She paused, surprised. "All of them?" "Every single one." The call turned into a plan. A weekend with family, no media, no speeches, just stories, board games and barbecue. The kids asked him silly questions. "Did you really have a button for Diet Coke?" He laughed harder than he had in years. "Yes, and I used it a lot." They giggled and he leaned back, soaking it in. Melania watched from the patio, smiling softly. "You're different," she said that night. "Am I better?" "You're closer to who you were." "Who was that?" "A man who wanted to matter." "And now," he asked. "Now you do, but in a different way. Not for crowds, not for applause, but for connection. Real, unfiltered, vulnerable connection. He wrote a letter that evening, not a tweet, not a press release, a handwritten note to his children. I know I've failed you in some ways, but I'm still here and I'm trying. He mailed them all personally, one to Don Jr., one to Ivanka, one to Eric, each with the same final line. I love you. Not because you're mine, because you're you. Days passed, then came replies, long, tearful calls. Forgiveness shared. Bridges, long burned, now rebuilt. The public saw a changed man. They didn't know the full story, but they felt something had shifted. He's not fighting everyone anymore, some said. He's fighting for something now, others noticed. Not for status, not for spotlight, but for peace, for the right to hold his son's trust and keep it. Trump started journaling. Late at night, thoughts spilled on paper. Reflections, not reactions. Pain, hope, regret. It was therapy he never knew he needed. He wrote about the night of the prayer. That moment broke me to rebuild me. He kept writing, every day. A new habit formed, humility. It tasted strange but good. One entry read, I thought being president would be the peak.